Yeah, I think the first time I noticed something was wrong was in my early 20s. I didn't know what was happening. It was an anxiety feeling, a feeling of just overwhelming, I think, dark cloud that covered me. And when I found out that it was an anxiety attack, because I had a hard time breathing and that my face got hot and all that, it helped me a little bit, at least to know that it wasn't, that it was something that's definable. As for some reason that made me calm down. Somebody said, "You're just having an anxiety attack." And they occurred occasionally. Every couple of years I would get one, but then I said, okay, this is an anxiety attack, I can handle it. But as I got older, they're coming more frequently. And used to be just in the evenings. I would feel this sense of loneliness and being alone. In fact, now I am, so it's, I look around, I live alone, and it doesn't matter even if there were people, though, because the sense of the depression is that I am alone. I'm alone even when I'm with people, sometimes when I'm with a lot of people. There's nothing that triggers it. It's just something that happens now, and I guess if something did trigger it would be the evening, or trying to go to sleep. I have not been officially diagnosed as a depression, but in a psychologist, when I went to speak about my problems, they said that you have all the signs that it's depression. They were going to give me some medicine, and I didn't want it, but I know that it's there if I need it. And I know some people that have had meds and they reacted badly, and but others, my sister for example, it's a miracle drug for her, and I'm just reluctant to do it. But if it gets too bad, that is an option for me. But I try not to have chemicals in my body that I can do something about. I know everything you eat sometimes has some sort of chemical in it, but if I can prevent it, I don't want to take meds. I don't know what started the anxiety. Sometimes it's triggered by an event, like somebody says something and I get very sensitive about it. But most of the time it's just something that comes over me, just takes over me. And it's like a snowball effect. I start thinking bad things, and then another bad thing, and then another bad thing. And I never can train my mind to think, well, there's a lot of good things. It's always the negative. And so I think the part that's scary is that you don't feel like you have control. For example, recently I couldn't get to sleep. I had taken a long plane flight, and I was already had very little sleep. So I figured, well, I'm going to be able to go to sleep tonight. I slept like an hour on the plane, but I wasn't. And then I started tossing and turning and saying, I'm not going to be able to get to sleep. And sure enough, I wasn't able to get to sleep. So I'd get up and I'd pace, and I was up till 6 a.m. And so for 2 nights it was that way. And so it made me feel like I'm never, ever going to be able to sleep. And that's really fearful. But what it does, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you say you're not going to be able to sleep, then you're not going to be able to sleep because you're thinking about it. And you have to stop that thinking process. And I'm working on doing that. I know physical, breathing, pacing, doing something, not just to tire me, but to get my mind off the negative thoughts. That's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to control it. To describe depression is probably going to be different for everybody, I imagine. For me, it is like there's something, I can almost feel something physical. I would say a dark cloud, but it's really indefinable. But just to put it simply, like this dark cloud just kind of hovers over me, and it stays there. I can feel it in my ears, feel it in my neck, and it gets hot. And then I feel those thoughts going, oh boy, and it's a little bit, okay, stop it. I can't get out of this, and it's trapped. So another feeling is being which I'm claustrophobic, so I was feeling trapped. I'm feeling like I'm stuck in somewhere. So the minute I get up and walk around, sometimes I'll walk outside, it gets better. But then I go back and I get into bed and those thoughts come again. So what I've been trying to do is to talk myself that the bed is the good place to go to. You know, so a lot of it is self-hypnosis of some sort, or just repeat things over and over again to make it better. Another thing that for me that makes that helps is to talk to people. And sometimes you know just by sight or just by a sentence or two that person will understand because they have some form of it themselves. So it's nice to know. It's not nice to know because I feel bad for anybody that has this, because it's worse than anything physical I've had. But there's a sense of, at least there's a community sense that, if you talk about it, there's people that can identify with and not just go, boy, is he nutty, or is he worry about everything, I worry about worrying too much. Anxiety affects my social life a lot because I have fears now, fears of sometimes driving at night, my car might break down, fears that have some basis of reality, but it's worrying about stuff that's going to happen. And sometimes it doesn't keep me from going out, but it keeps me sometimes from being in the present and having a good time. I'll be out and everybody's laughing and I'll feel like I'll get into that negative thought process. So I have to fight that too, but I'm not yet debilitated enough that I don't go and do things, but I have turned down quite a few things because I just had worries about something or another. Some of the ways I control my anxiety and depression is I do yoga classes twice a week. I walk every morning, and then I walk a lot during the day too. And then I bicycle during the weekends. And I'm not doing enough, and that's another thing that I'm going to make sure I do, is because exercise really does help. It really, physically doing something, you have a sense of control and you have a sense of well-being because you are doing something physically. You're not just sitting there. And I know people who are bound to their beds. They can't get out of bed sometimes, and I'm not going to be that way. That's not something that I'm going to let myself be. The best advice I would give to somebody who's trying to handle depression and anxiety is to reach out and force yourself out, force yourself to socialize, even if it's for a couple of hours. I think it works for me, but everybody's different. Everybody's depression that's one of the things that's difficult to understand, that everybody has, the people that have depression, they're all different in different sort of ways, but there is some commonality. And when you talk to people that have it and they go, yeah, that's it, I did the same thing, I can't believe that. And I think there's a comfort in that, and that's my best advice would be, do what I've not been doing as much as I should be doing, is get out.